So we're back with another spooky chapter of the good old Dark Gathering. And unfortunately, I'm very, very close to the latest chapter. I mean, we are in the 40s, and right now the manga is in its 50s, probably about to hit 60s. So, like I said before, when I first started with the manga chapter reviews, eventually when I do catch up and reach the latest, of course updates will be much more slower. So like, if you're not seeing me doing them every week, it's because I'm trying to stretch them out as much as possible, because I am very, very close. So if you don't see a chapter review next week or something, know that I'm trying to stretch this, because I know it's a monthly series, and then you'll have to wait for one chapter per month. I don't think any of us really wants that, but you guys have been reading the manga a lot longer than I have, and let's just keep it at that. But this chapter in particular is kind of screwed up. So from last chapter, after dealing with the ghosts that tried to take Keitaro's head and exploded due to a tumor, Keitaro also managed to get like Shikigami, both Zenki and Goki, that dealt with the ghost that was in the tunnel that tried to attack Eiko, right? And then it tried to attack Keitaro as well. But then one of the Shikigami, I think it was Goki, protected him, but because it protected him, it was also using his energy, so it does affect him in a way towards his life energy. They don't know the conditions of how to utilize these Shikigami and why he got them. On top of, we saw both the original Abe no Seme, who took on a younger appearance, and then there's this mysterious guy with circular glasses, who's wearing a kimono or a yukata. I think it's a yukata. And he was speaking to Seme, right? So these two are working together. So I'm still, based on what you guys saying, because it was Seme and all that, I'm going to go on the limb that like they do want to help them, but I guess they want to see some type of outcome. Because what happens after they explain about Goki and Zenki, they're saying Zenki representing Yang and Goki representing Yin, and then obviously one is representing the sun while the other is representing the moon. So depending on the conditions, because they are now attached to Keitaro, they will have to figure out what those conditions are, and this means a greater protection and also utilization in power for Keitaro. So he doesn't have to rely on just his affinity to attract ghosts and be like a magnet to know their presence and everything. Now he has something that can both be an offense and defense until he understands their conditions in order to summon them. Of course, this may lead to his body not being in control of itself. It can be where he's knocked out or anything of that sort, because he's trying to use one of the Shikigami at hand. So other than that, we have it where they're trying to pick where they're going to go next after everything that happened at that other tunnel. Mind you, they're in Kyoto, and all of this, it's no break in between, bro. Just to save a friend. At the end of the day, they're going to do so much. So they're deciding, should we go through F tunnel or go through Route 1 or something of that. And while they're thinking of where to go, they're we have where Keitaro and Yayoi is just like, all right, gotta break out the moves or rock paper. Then we get to where the guy with the circular glasses, the mysterious guy, is pinpointing and knowing exactly where they're going to go. He has his own version of looking like the Ouija board. I don't know why, but he says they're going to F Park. I said tunnel. They're going to F Park. And mind you, they're actually going to F Park. So I don't know if he is determining where they're going, or he's knowing exactly, because there is some type of knowing how this series is all spiritual and supernatural and all that. He has some ties to them in that regard. So he's actually going to follow them And he's making the note saying that, like, hopefully when I go there, I can pick up their bones, collect it, and then use the Summary of Judgments to my new. The Summary of Judgments is the same book that was written by Abe no Seme, and Yayoi has it in hand. So he's probably, I'm guessing, Judgments, if it's a real thing, Summary of the Judgments. And he wants to get back that book. So I don't know if it's like he wants to get back Abe no Seme's book for whatever purposes, or he wants to use it for himself. We're not too sure. You know what vibes he's giving me? And this may be kind of spoilerish, and this is not the same series in regards to, because one is horror and the other is actually action. But this particular character is giving the same vibes of that dude that was in Kaite Kill Him and Reborn. He was mad mysterious. He was mad mysterious, and he was playing his cards behind the scenes and all that stuff. You actually were first introduced to him in the 10-year arc. That's where you were first introduced. Or it probably was earlier than that, but I definitely remember seeing him for the first time in the 10-year arc. But I'm not going to go too much info about him. That's for when we get back to reviewing Reborn. So anyway, now they reached the park. Mind you, before they could fully turn the corner, Keitaro is shivering. Whatever entity is there already got Keitaro shaking in his boots. It's not a good feeling. He's like, yo, we can't go here. This is not good. We need to turn back. That's how you know it's bad. It is very, very bad. So while they're going there, and he's still shaking, you know, Eiko being our reliable historian, if you will, she's telling us the history of F Park and what happened there. Like, there was a Hogan rebellion of 1156, who rebelled and who died, and so on and so forth. So there, and then, you know, people committing, you know, themselves and all that stuff. So she's reading the history and the lore of that particular spot, and that they have this it's also a place for burials in Kyoto and all that stuff. It was also known like a burial site known as a Rendino, where the wind will pick up the dust of those who were buried and scattered through the wind and all that. The corpse was exposed to the wind, so it was scattered all over the place. But Keitaro is saying that despite what is written for public viewing, he's saying that this is not the same feeling of someone who has committed, you know, this is something much more evil, much more worse. And he can't pinpoint exactly. And then he's like, what I'm feeling, this presence I'm feeling, feels like an exit. Now that's kind of weird, because it's just like, what does an exit feel like? What do you mean by like something is trying to get in and get out? Because it's understandable if you could feel another ghost, or you can feel how evil it is, or like this place is creepy and feels disgusting. But like what he's saying is like what it is, like some kind of exit, or as Eiko will describe, a spiritual vein. But even Yayoi, remember, at the end of the day, while Keitaro can feel it because he attracts, he's like a magnet, Yayoi can see versus. So she can't necessarily feel too much of the magnitude that Keitaro is feeling, but she does feel a little chill down her spine. And so when she looks up to the sky, she's like, oh, there's a big black hole up in the sky. And eventually they do see it too. And they're wondering, what is this hole in the sky for? So as they're going further in, towards closer to the park, Yayoi is realizing that, like, one, there's a lot of people in the park, there's a lot of visitors, but she doesn't feel anything necessarily evil around the place, which again isn't too much of a shocker, because like I said, she can see things that normal people can't see on a daily, versus Keitaro, who could feel. So it may differ for both of them. While Keitaro is feeling the horrors and this very grotesque, very evil feeling, right? Yayoi is only seeing the aspect of there's this hole and it's not driving people away. So while that's and she's thinking, okay, this hole may have consumed, it's also giving what's that movie that was by Jordan Peele that came out like 2 years ago or something like that? It's giving that. So while they're there, they end up seeing this tower called the Siren Tower. And I'm guessing that's where people were, that's a particular spot for burial and all that stuff, and people would put fire there and so on and so forth. So this is where it starts to get creepy once again. Dark Gathering. All of a sudden, Eiko sees a lone baby carriage by itself. Mind you, she sees it and other people see it, and they're walking past and they're like, what's going on? And so then she walks up, and then it's like, they're cute kids, right? And she keeps walking up. And then Keitaro sees her walking to the baby carriage, and he's struck with fear because all he sees is like dark mist surrounding this baby carriage. And then before he knows it, Eiko is staring hard at the baby carriage. Then all you see is this scrawny, wrinkly. She looks like the grandma with the chocolate commercial from SpongeBob, but she got arm and legs. That's what she looks like. And she's holding the carriage with a lantern. And they're wondering, when did she appear? Because they could not feel her presence before. And she's slowly opening up the hood of the carriage. And then she's asking Eiko, hey, you think they look like, come here and take a closer look. Look at these wonderful little children. Look at these babies. So Keitaro is trying to run to Eiko, tell her, do not look. By the time he reaches her, Eiko is already staring down at that carriage, eyes black. And then you got this horrific image. And it's explained, it's not actual babies, but it's baby dolls with like their mouth looking like little teeth. And it's, ugh. Do not read this at nighttime, okay? Read this during the daytime so you don't get scared, right? Then the carriage moves. And Keitaro is kind of confused because he's like, I managed to reach her in time. And then he's trying to see if she's okay. And then all you see is a panel where like an eye is opening, is looking, and then it starts to ask like, where am I? What is going on? What has happened? Then the ghost is staring Eiko back in her face. The ghost stole Eiko's soul and trapped it in the baby doll, right? And this is what causes Eiko to start screaming, because now her body is soulless. Her physical human body is soulless, and it's screaming and everything. So she's basically in a comatose state while her spirit is trapped in that doll. But there is like the soul link between her and the doll, the baby doll that the ghost, the old grandma ghost, has her in. So the grandma ghost is going to the Siren Temple and is grabbing up these baby dolls. Then she flings it right into that opening of the Siren Temple. And how they explain how it happens, because both Keitaro and Yayoi didn't really, they saw the soulless dolls too, but the way Yayoi is saying that like how you can get trapped in it is basically the first one to see it is the one that gets their soul taken. So Eiko was the first one to see it, despite everybody else that was passing by. The carriage also saw them too. So back to the ghost grandma. She picks up one of the dolls, throws them in, and then she lights up the fire that was from her lantern, and then burns the baby doll. And we all know, since it is souls in there, Yayoi could not see like a soul link, a soul string attached, so we don't know if the connection between the soul that was in that particular doll baby, mind you, it's not Eiko, they still can see her link, it has been severed, or the person's physical body did die or something like that. We don't know. So I'm gonna go with the latter. Whatever. The baby doll is lit on fire and it starts screaming. The soul is being destroyed. So then in that black hole that's in the sky that we saw, right, out came these mist-shaped like figures coming out of it. And then they start surrounding the Siren Temple. You know, when some ghosts you see, they're surrounding like they're about to something summon them and all that. Yeah, the soul summoned them, right? We come to find out for the first time, and I always wonder, how come we did not see this? Shinigami. These are Shinigami. So now we have where Yayoi is bringing up what happened to her and what was explained in the first chapter, a year and a half prior to the current storyline, where she said when after the incident that happened with her family and everything on that driving trip, and she was in the hospital recuperating, she saw these dark figures going in and out of hospital rooms gathering souls. And that Shinigami are not to be trifled with, because they are even more scary and more dangerous than any other ghost or anything spiritual entity that they deal with, because these are the death bringers. These are the ones that collect souls once they have passed, right? So to her, she starts calling them, Shinigami, death reapers, right? Death gods. And we've seen that cross media for many years. So just before the Shinigami can actually go and consume the soul or bring it with them back to that big black hole, we see where the ghost grandma walks up to the Shinigami, then grabs it by its feet and then starts sucking. She ate the Shinigami, and then she proceeds to keep doing it for all of them. And then it makes you wonder, how is she able to defeat a Shinigami if it's dangerous than most ghosts? Because it's literally a death god, a death reaper. So she starts doing that, and then after that, she transforms. There's like an eye or something in the middle of her forehead, and then she picks up another baby doll and wants to go do the same thing. We have her now, Yayoi, saying, okay, as long as the soul link between Yayoi and her soul is still there, I need to go get her and then retrieve her and then deal with the ghost grandma accordingly, because if Eiko's soul burns, then Eiko is quite literally dead. Okay, so she rushes to go and deal with the grandma ghost with her finger puppet. Grandma is so strong that she shattered the attack from the finger puppet. Yayoi was going to use the lion plushie, and I forgot which ghost or graduate is in the lion plushie. And what surprised me the most, she using a ghost that we have not seen for a bit. It was in one of those tunnels before they went to Kyoto. It's the one that deals with the hair and everything. She took that one out, and we thought, oh, she gonna do damage. Now she got knocked out with one punch. Grandma gave it, like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I'm watching this and I'm like, I was watching a TikTok video last night, right, where it was like road rage, and it was a young couple and then an older couple, and you should have seen grandma whooping the younger woman's behind while she on the ground. And I'm like, grandma, you throwing heads? This is what it's reminding me of, low-key. So she beats her, and then out of grandma's mouth, through her transformation, spits out another baby doll, right? Mind you, Yayoi was able to rescue Yayoi's soul and throw to Keito and tell him to take Eiko and run as far as you can while I deal with her, right? Yeah, going back to it, we see a panel where the grandma goes, spits out another baby doll, and then traps the long-haired ghost that we saw in that tunnel from how much episodes and chapters ago. And it comes to find out she's actually pretty dangerous, because it's not only living beings that she traps souls into these dolls, she does it to ghosts too. So that means Yayoi, who has a graduate on hand, can't hope to use that graduate, because if the graduate ends up losing and all she has to do is give it one punch, she'll absorb the graduate, and now they're left defenseless. So this is the first time we've seen where ghosts can outdo other ghosts by simply sealing them, right? How do you defeat that? It's sealed. It ate and it sealed the Shinigami. It ate and sealed that long hair ghost that they dealt with. So what can a graduate do to this particular ghost? We don't know, but this does lead me. And then because of that, it left that Eiko, all of them has to start running, right? And that's how the chapter ends. So this makes me believe, hear me out, if they can't use a graduate and they lost another strong ghost, this is where Zenki and Goki has to come into play. Because to me, something tells me they're not your typical type of ghosts. They're what? They're Shikigami, right? But I think they're like a good Shikigami. So, and they're meant to protect their holder. But of course, they have to know the conditions in order to unleash them. Now, I think in the last chapter, Keitaro unleashed Genki without realizing it. So, and I think Genki is the sun. So that means he has to unleash Zenki at this point, or Zoki at this point. And we don't know what Zenki is capable of doing. That's the only probable choice I can see in this, because just like, how the heck are they going to, the grandma ghost ate the Shinigami, ate and sealed the Shinigami. It can also eat and seal a human soul. That black hole is where the Shinigami comes through, because I guess they appear every time there is souls to be attracted to, or probably was a grandma ghost at that point. And then it ate one of the, it's not a graduate, but one of the stronger ghosts that Yayoi has in her arsenal. So if it can do all those things, what do they have in hand? Hence why it goes back to the mysterious man in round glasses. He's like, I'm there to go collect their bones and also collect back the journal. So I know they're going to survive, but it's just like, how they're going to be able to do it. And my only option, my only guess for this would have to be the Shikigami, or probably it could be the guy in glasses, or Abe no Same. That's if he can leave his post. There is that too. But they need to get back. This is like the second or third time this dealt with Eiko's soul or something like that that's been being snatched, or was that too much of Keitaro? And this is only like the second time with Eiko. Yeah, this ain't good. This ain't good. So, guys, do tell me in the comments below on how you felt about Dark Gathering Chapter 42. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think Grandma is probably one of the strongest ghosts that they had? The Grandma ghost. She's one of the stronger ghosts that they had to deal with in quite a while. Oh, that's a motorcycle. That they had to deal with in a while. And how can they beat something that's consistently sealing them without any countermeasures? I would love to read your comments down below. Of course, no spoilers for the future chapters. The links are in the description box. And I'm Kimmy-chan, and I will see you guys later. Bye!